A woman talks about why most nurses is going broke. Again, hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock out.
You see nurses flying first class to Dubai. You see nurses buying 5 Chanel bags. And honestly, really think about it. Your friend Andrew's mom is a nurse. You don't see her flying first class to Dubai, right? Exactly. There's a reason for that. I saw this video a little while ago and I thought it was perfect. Not every single nurse is broke, but there is a common misconception that nurses are rich or making a whole lot of money because of the things you see on social media. Nurses that you see buying these extravagant things or living these extravagant lifestyles, a lot of them are either travel nurses or nurses who do not have kids and a mortgage and those sort of responsibilities a majority of the time. Not all the time, but like a majority of the time, that's the case. Even me, I know nurses right now who have been working for 20 plus years who are struggling to retire. The biggest issue of why nurses are broke, most nurses, is lifestyle inflation. A lot of these nurses, when you're in college, you're not making that much money. Like none of us were making any money in college. You're struggling. So you finally get that job and immediately most jobs are paying pretty good rates, really, in the city or wherever you live. So you just overspend. You kind of overcompensate for not having when you were in college. So now it's like, oh, I got it. So I can fly here and go there. And a lot of you will graduate with your friends. So they say, let's do this. And you're like, let's do this. You go along with it. And you start to buy a whole lot of things that you don't really need because
I will say that she is very pleasant to look at. It's easy to hear her communicate because she do look good. Anton love the ladies. But let's continue.
You didn't need those things before, so why do you need them now? It's like buying the $60,000 BMW that like everybody else has because you think every other nurse is driving this kind of car, so why don't I get this kind of car? But you actually don't need it. You just need something that works and that's sturdy. Or getting the high-rise apartment downtown immediately with all the windows, or getting your nails $100 every single 2 weeks. Or, these Instagram girls are charging like $600 for that.
Most of these women out here is broke. Let me just tell you. Most women are broke. Most people are broke. And they not broke because they don't make enough money. They're broke because they make bad decisions when they get the money. You usually see this with people with new money, right? And I was like that when I was 18, 19 years old, when I started first making money, when I first started making $100,000, $120,000 a year. Now, we blew it. We blew it. So I'm not above it. I understand it. And that's why I could speak to it. We blew it. And so what we did was we got all of the cars and we got all of the big cars and the Mustangs and the 5.0s. And you got to remember, this is over, 20, 22 years ago, 24 years ago now that I'm thinking about it. And we got the Trailblazer SS's and the big cars and we took the trips and we did what we wanted to do when we wanted to do it. And we blew it. And then when 2008 came through, we was broke and we was fired at the same time. And we had to move back into our mother's basement, which was actually the biggest blessing. Both those sequences of events actually was the biggest blessing ever because we knew better and we should have did better. And if we hadn't been forced to start rethinking our decisions, we probably wouldn't be in a position of power. I think I would have been really successful no matter what, but we wouldn't have been as well off as we are because we were forced to start making better decisions. And so going through something absolutely changes your perspective. But I will tell you that most people do not have an earning problem. We get money. We absolutely get money. We got a spending problem. And when you see people that start to come into money and they first start making money, but then they never adapt from it, it's so many different people. More than 50%, more than half of the population that make over $100,000 a year is living paycheck to paycheck because you got a lifestyle problem. I know that we sit there and we complain about inflation and we complain about the cost of gas and cars. Ain't nobody tell you had to go and buy that big car. Ain't nobody tell you that you had to go and try to keep up with the Joneses to impress people that don't even care nothing about you. We have a lifestyle problem. You got a spending problem. Most of y'all that is struggling today that keep telling me, I'm going to join the Patreon next month. $15? You got a tricking problem. You be tricking off on these chicks. You be trying to get these spirit flights popping, having them come in and out. They not even add no value into your life. You keep going to Ruth Chris every day. You nickel and dime your money away. They start, oh man, I'm a girly girl. I'm a boss. I don't want no guy that don't make as much as me. You broke. You broke. You broke. I can see all of your money on you. You spend it in makeup. You spend it on your car that ain't even got good maintenance. You keep trying to impress people. You keep going out of town. I want to know what your portfolio look like. Stop asking women how much they make and start asking them whether or not their portfolio is up to date. If their portfolio is aligned with their age. Maybe I need to do a whole show and a breakdown on where you need to be as far as how much money you're supposed to have in your portfolio at certain ages.
Like a sew-in or braids or like extensions or blonde girls. I didn't know how expensive it was.
$350 every. Get out of here.
Respect to you. That is crazy. I'm talking too fast. But you know, you're doing all these extravagant things and your lifestyle is just becoming so more and more expensive. Do you ever hear those people who talk all the time and they're like, oh, I make 600K or I did everything I was supposed to do. Why am I still struggling to make ends meet? One, that's the American economy's fault. But a little bit of it is also that your lifestyle is a lot more than your job is able to afford. Not saving for the future and not saving in case of emergencies. As life happens, things happen. If you're not able to pay your rent or pay your car, if you were to quit your job today, your life is too expensive and you don't have enough savings. The more expensive your life is, like she said in the video, the more bound you are to that job. You are like trapped to that job because you have to continuously keep up with yourself because you keep raising the things that you need to be able to afford. And God forbid you get into a car accident next week where you're not able to work. Or if you get hurt one day, you're going to be able to, you know, afford to stay home. There's things that like people don't think about, especially younger nurses, because young people, you know, we just think we're indestructible, nothing can hurt us, we can go spend all the money, it'll come right back. And yes, the money will come back, but overspending is going to put you in a situation, you know, where you just broke my nail. See that? If you were to quit today and you miss a few checks, or missing one check affects your rent or your car payment or the way that you live your life, you're not saving up enough and you're not able to afford the life that you're living right now because you're not ready for an emergency, because life happens and things happen and you have to be able to like adapt to those issues. Another thing is like a lot of nurses, unless you went to a community college, which is considerably cheaper, or your parents helped you pay your, you know, your way through college, you're most likely going to have student debt or student loans that you took out in order to finish nursing school.
98% of everybody that's in college should not be taking out student loans. 98% of everybody that's in college, let me say that again for the people in the back, 98% of everybody that's in college should not, under no circumstances, be taking out student loans. You are basically creating self-inflicted wounds. There's no reason at all for you ever to take out student loans. There are so many different alternatives, and if you don't know, then look it up. If you don't know, then ask somebody. If you're trying to figure out how to get through school, and yes, you can still go to school. If you're still trying to figure out how to get through school without taking out student loans, or you trying to figure out or trying to send your son or your daughter because they're going to be the first ones to graduate from college, most people, unless you're becoming a neurosurgeon or something like that, it is no reason for you to take out student loans. Ask somebody or tap into the Patreon.
And a lot of nurses, instead of immediately tackling your debt, just like she said in the video, this video ate, you guys. Like, I thought this video was amazing. And instead of immediately tackling your debt or your student loan, you're buying a purse that you don't even care about. A lot of nurses, or a lot of people in general, are buying things to impress people that you don't care about, that aren't paying attention anyway. And another thing that is keeping you broke is going out. I don't know what it is about today, but every time I go outside, it's like you just sneeze $100. You go out to eat with one friend and they coming back, bringing the bill, it's like $80, $90. Everybody should be leaving the house all the time. I feel like being at home is to sleep and get cute and then leave. You have to, you know, go get life, go experience things. But there's cheaper ways to go out and experience things than always paying for food. Do things that don't cost a whole lot of money every single time that you go out, because you're just throwing that money away. You're just burning it. You go out to go get a plate of chips and salsa, it's $20. You could have bought the bag of salsa at home, it's $6, and still went and watched the game. Investing and putting money into your Roth, or maxing out your 401k, or opening up a high yield savings.
You know they ain't trying to do that.
Saving in general, or budgeting.
You know they ain't trying to do that.
In this video, I hope you don't think like Precious like knows what she's doing, because I don't. I'm just saying like these are things I noticed because these are things that I've done. Not really with like overspending as far as buying a whole lot of expensive clothes and things like that, but like I spent a lot of money on like traveling.
Reading that super chat.
And that adds up. And also I bought a new car last year that was so unnecessary. Still.
Well, at least she's admitting her mistakes, right? At least she's admitting her mistakes. She's basically saying, listen, I went through it so that you don't have to. There's no reason for you to do the same mistakes. Ain't it funny that we got all of this historical evidence of what you should and shouldn't do, yet we continue to do the same thing over and over, over and over, over and over?
I don't think it's the worst financial decision I've ever made, but it's okay. It could have been worse, whatever. The true luxury is your time and your freedom. I'm gonna be able to have the luxury or the ability that if something happens at that job where you need to take a step back, or even if you need to resign, you are able to afford that, and it's not going to shake up your life or the things that you do on a day-to-day basis for too long anyway. You know, you'll obviously need to get another job, but to have enough savings where you could take like a month or a few off if you're sick or you're struggling with something, you'll be able to do that if you plan accordingly. More things are not going to make you more happy. I think initially when you get something that's brand new and it's exciting and, oh, I've been wanting this, but that wears off after like 20 minutes. Like, even when you think about the people who have the most things, or like millionaires, like a lot of them aren't actually happy and struggle with depression, or are actually really insecure and sad inside. Real wealth is going to come from peace of mind and being content, and the relationships that you have that add value to your life. That's what's going to actually make you happy. Like, I always think about it, like, now I'm an adult, you know, I'm making more than I did when I was younger, but when I was like 18, I was
Who coming in the back door?
like, so, like, probably the happiest I ever been. And it was because
She could have re-recorded that. Come on, baby. You could have re-recorded that one.
I know now is because I was in college and I was surrounded by like a community of people that that I felt valued by and valued in. So the things that matter are your experiences. Yes, it costs money.
Yes, the Patreon and the Bag Chasers, it's the same thing. The link is in the description.
Have those experiences. That's why you do need a job to make a living, but you don't want to overdo it without budgeting or saving. And I think another thing is, a lot of people, once you get that brand new job, you stop budgeting. You're not paying attention to what you're spending because you think you don't have to. But even millionaires budget. So like,
every single person that I know, no matter what you do, no matter what's going on in your life, I do not know anybody, not one person. I don't care what your net worth is. I don't care how much money you make. We all have a budget. We all are keeping track on what we make and what we spend and how that's going to impact what we do long term. Every last person that I know has a budget. Money does not give you freedom per se from your own self-inflicted wounds. If you are a person that just fumbles the bag, you're just going to spend more money fumbling the bag. You can spend your way into being broke. We see NBA players and NFL players go broke within 5 years of making hundreds of millions of dollars sometimes. You're not immune to it. Everybody can go broke, right? The first thing that I did was I made sure that I paid off debt. The second thing that I did was I made sure that I built up enough to continue to invest, and then I let that compound over a period of time, and then I spent more money on investments after I had went broke because I had learned the lesson, and so I stayed down. I minimized my personal expenses. I basically lived for free for the next 10 years. I did what I wanted to do all the way up until 2017, and then after 2017, I said, all right, well, it's time to start showing some money. But I never stopped investing. Majority of my resources and my money is always going to go back into reinvesting back into the products and the businesses that I'm a part of. 100%. And now I don't even believe in going to banks at all. I just believe in funding your own investments in your own lifestyle. Become the bank. Ultimately, that's the goal. That's the top goal from a financial perspective. I know we talk about peace and friends and all of that, and that's cool. But if you really, really ambitious, like a person like me, ultimately, you want to become the bank. You want to become you don't want to become interdependent on the bank. You want to basically divest yourself from it, and you want all money in. All money in. No interest payments, no nothing. No lines, no none of that. You want to become the bank. So shout out to all of the nurses that's getting the bag, but we definitely want to make sure that y'all are being fiscally responsible. You know what I'm saying? Let me read some.